So today we are gathered here for one of the assignment assigned to us for a subject PSRS, Philosophy of Science and Spirituality or Religion. Interview who are in science, philosophy or spirituality field. So we selected science field. So this is a group activity. So I, Mohan Krishna Chitkena, along with me, Sanjana and Asta are there. We are FY MTech Chemical Engineering students in MIT WPU University. So today we are going to interview Mr. Alok Pandit sir. Let's start with his introduction. Alok Pandit sir is a veteran in chemical engineering software business. He has a great reputation in industries, whether in oil and gas, refinery, chemicals, petrochemicals, API, etc. He completed his graduation from Punjab University in chemical engineering and masters from IIT Kanpur. His research area of masters is thermodynamics and phase equilibrium. He has total 30 plus years of experience, out of which he served 3 companies before he set up his own venture, Equinox Software. He is currently a director of Equinox Software and previously worked with Onward Technologies, Hyprotech and Aspentech. Equinox Software currently offering services in process engineering, OTS, IoT, SCM, MES and James. So now my classmates will question the interview.
Good evening, sir. So
Yeah,
let's.
So we can stop the video now?
No.
It will continue?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah, please go ahead.
So tell us something about your life journey that you have been through.
Okay. I'm from a city called Dehradun. I was born and brought up there, and I've been schooling in Dehradun, Kendriya Vidyalaya. Then after that I moved to Chandigarh, did my chemical engineering. Then I started my career from Hindustan Petroleum in the refinery. And I worked there for a short time and then decided to go for MTech. So I joined IIT Kanpur. After that I worked at various places. As Mohana said, one of my long innings was with a company called Onward Technology, almost more than 10 years I think, 12 years probably. So Onward used to represent many US companies in the field of process simulation. That's where I learned all the simulation and other applications. And from there then I moved to a company called Hyprotech, which was a Canadian company. They wanted to start operations in India. So that was around 2000 I think. And in 2002 this company was taken over by Aspen Technology. So I landed up in Aspentech, and that continued for almost another 8 years. And then 2008 a couple of us decided to start Equinox. So we left our jobs and started this. So that is 2008 I think we started. So it's almost about 14 years now. That brings us to today.
I would also like to ask you what motivated you to create this company, Equinox?
So although none of us come from business background, all the founders family wise they are all from working people background, but we always had this idea that okay, someday we would like to do something on our own. At least I had that in my mind right from when I came out of college. And there used to be a friend of mine, Dr. Gangadhar Rao. So when we were studying together in masters, that time also we used to talk about doing business. And when we started our jobs in Bombay, that was 85 I think. At that point of time we opened a joint account and we decided that we will keep contributing whatever little money, 1000 rupees or 500 rupees every month, so that we will have some cops when we finally start business. So it has been there at the back of the mind. Finally, the question was okay, where do we go? What do we do? Gangadhar, my friend, he comes from manufacturing background. So one of the ideas we initially explored was to set up a bromine plant, and we did quite a lot of work in that area, and finally decided that it is probably a difficult area because bromine production is highly polluting industry. Although there is a good demand for bromine as a product, so we dropped that idea, and then finally we said, okay, let's try services. Now the reason we entered into the services business, you will not believe, but of course this was an area where we have worked for so many years, so we were obviously comfortable. But the reason we finally zeroed down to this was in our experience of working with Aspen Technology almost for 8-9 years, and even before that, we noticed that if you look at this process simulation applications or engineering applications in chemical engineering, then there are two broad categories of service providers. So one is the typically the control systems, biggies. So ABB, Honeywell, Siemens, Yokogawa. So that is one end, or even Aspen Technology, for that matter. And on the other hand are large engineering companies. So multinational companies like Uday, Toyo, Indian leaders like Larsen and Toubro, and then Engineers India Limited, so many of them. So on one hand are these original technology suppliers, on the other hand is these large engineering companies, right? But there is nobody in between. So if you look at the Indian chemical industries, obviously the large companies like refineries and Reliance and all these guys, they can afford to buy the technology from these guys, and then they can also afford to go to these large engineering companies to get the product engineered or plant engineered. So we thought that there is definitely a space which is vacant where a smaller engineering company can start offering services to the maybe second or third tier of Indian chemical industries. Right? Everybody is not Reliance, obviously. So that's how this idea took shape, and then we started this Equinox. And because of our Aspen Tech background, good or bad, we always thought, or we initially thought, that we are going to create a mini Aspen Tech. Okay, mini Aspen Tech in terms of the scope of offerings. So Aspen Tech offers solutions in three broad areas: engineering, manufacturing, and supply chain. So we thought we will offer services in all these three areas. So mini Aspen Tech in terms of offering, and mini Infosys in terms of quality and ethics and value system, and taking care of people and stakeholders and employees. So these were the two sort of role models for us at that point of time. So that's how Equinox started. Another interesting thing was that I don't know what is the situation right now, you people will know better, but in 2007, 2008 or around that time, almost everybody was joining IT industry. So these large companies, Infosys and Wipro and TCS, they used to come to engineering colleges, campuses, and they used to recruit en masse, the whole batch, like whether you are electrical, mechanical, chemical, everybody was joining IT industry. So we thought, how do we motivate chemical engineers to not join these IT industries? Sorry, and build a career in the field of chemical engineering. So the issue was that if you want to go to software industry, we named our company Equinox Software and Services. so that you can tell your employee, I mean your colleagues and parents and brothers, sisters that I'm joining a software company. But inside Equinox, you are still doing chemical engineering job, right? So software is only an enabling mechanism for us to address the engineering problems of the industry. So this is, I think, overall picture of how Equinox took shape at that point of time. I will say, to some extent, we have been successful. Definitely, I think we could attract good chemical engineers, and I always take lot of satisfaction in this that the very first employee who joined us, his name is Nakash. He had got an offer from Accenture in the campus. He was a gold medalist of his batch from MIT only. And he told his professor that he doesn't want to go to Accenture and all these IT companies, so he would like a chemical engineering company. And his professor, in fact, him, Professor Ratandeep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ratandeep was that time in Alandi campus, and Ratandeep told me that Alok sir, this guy is really keen on joining chemical engineering career. I said, yeah, if he has an offer from Accenture, and we are a startup, so obviously we cannot match the kind of salaries Accenture is offering. So he said, no, don't worry about it, because he wants chemical engineering. So we could almost break away a person, from Accenture IT field to chemical engineering field, and he was our first employee who joined us. And he did extremely well, very, very good chemical engineer. Today he works in US. I think he's in Houston, and he works for a very large engineering company. So I think that has been an exciting journey.
So your journey that you told us till now, that sounds very fun and nice. But then you are in the science part of when we consider the 4 domains, you are of the science part.
Okay.
So I would like to know, what is your opinion towards religion and spirituality? What is your opinion?
I don't know. I mean, opinion-wise, what you have in mind, but definitely, I think for me, religion is part of life. So this is by default, or this is the religion I am born in, and this is the religion I have grown. So this is the religion I have learned, right? And obviously, there is absolutely no hesitation in me practicing the religious practices of my religion, right? So that is one part. Obviously, spirituality is much different than religion. Religion is, I would say, a very, very small fraction of spirituality. And having faith in the spirit, and whether you call it, the existence of this universe itself, existence of our own life, who is driving it, how it has come into being. Those questions, I think, bother everyone at some point of time. Sometimes people seek shelter in religion to get answers to these questions, and you may get, right? But I believe that even beyond religion, even if you don't believe in any religion, you can still get answers to those spiritual questions or spiritual pursuits, and I follow that. I mean, definitely. So beyond religion, what are the other things that I am interested in? I write poetry. I do a lot of things apart from curriculum or curricular activities. So, for example, spending time with nature. I'm a very avid tracker. I have done hundreds of treks. I come from Dehradun, which is right in the mountains. So mountains are very close to me. So I think both things are important, and both things, depending on your own interest. You can give weightage to this or to this, but it is not one at the cost of other.
Sir, one of the questions that I would like to ask is, like, what are the challenges that you faced while you were on the journey, and especially how did you tackle them?
How do you?
Tackle them.
Okay. So let's divide it into two parts. One is the challenges when I was working as an employee, right? And one is the set of challenges when I'm working as an entrepreneur and setting up a new business, right? So when I was working, and if I look at all the four companies, Hindustan Petroleum, and then Hinditron onward, that is one, Hypertech, and then Aspentech, all these companies. The last two obviously are multinational companies. The first one is a public sector company, and the second one is a private sector company. So all kind of companies that I have worked. So I think the first challenge which I faced is to whether you are getting a right boss or not. Okay. I was obviously fortunate that I always got good bosses, but I've heard all kind of horror stories of people working with tough. I mean, boss can be tough, taskmaster, but sometimes they are unreasonable. So first challenge is your immediate supervisor, right? So that is one. The second thing is then what are the opportunities you are exposed to? Sometimes it becomes a challenge that I wanted to be in particular unit of the refinery, right? Because I did my BTech project in a particular area, and I was very keen that I get posted in this unit, but it is not in my hand, right? I gave my choice, but I was put in some XYZ unit, right? So these are the kind of, I would say, another type of challenge. The third one is, of course, when we started in Hindustan Petroleum, there is hardly any formal training given in the refinery. It is almost like you learn by trial and error. You are put in the plant, and that is it. Right? So that is another challenge. Whom do you address? Whom do you take or seek help from? Or you sort of burn midnight oil and learn on your own, right? So that is exciting journey if you can digest that kind of pressure. So that is another part. Then when I came to the private sector companies, both Hinditron as well as Onward Technology, I think that was excellent part of my career. I won't say that there were any big challenges in that part. The other challenge that of course I faced was, apart from work, was on the family side, right? Because I am the only son. I have two sisters, and taking care of that family. And I lost my mother when I was still doing my engineering. So there were obviously demands, on that side. And when we got our elder sister married, her marriage did not work out. So spending time running around to her, in-laws' place, those were also challenges, right? The biggest challenge, of course, was my handling my brother-in-law itself. So those were you have to balance your life. You cannot simply run away that okay, this is not my responsibility and I'm more interested in building my career and I want to be general manager and vice president in 5 years, so forget about what is happening in the family. So sort of balance those things out. In Aspentech there were altogether different challenges. The first challenge was cultural, because Hypertech and Aspentech, because in both those companies I used to report to not an Indian boss. I had a Spanish boss in Hypertech and an American boss in manager in Aspentech. So understanding their way of working and sort of adjusting your working style to their working style, that itself is a challenge. Uh, in the Equinox days, 14 years, too many challenges. In the business, right from raising finance, finding employees, interviewing them, finding customers, delivering project, everything is on your table. Of course, you have a team and try to get the projects executed, through the team. But still, finally the buck stops here. So all challenges. I mean, you can think of. So there have been days where we were wondering, अभी 5 तारीख को salary देना है, बैंक में पैसे नहीं है. So what are we going to do? God has been extremely kind. I mean, yesterday suddenly we got like 4 customers' payments in one day, which are very, very unusual. So very good, very happy. But then there are days when, as I said, hardly any money in the accounts. So it's a challenge. And then sometimes you meet, another big challenge, big problem is sometimes you end up with very unreasonable customers. Right? And that has happened in almost all parts of my journey. In Onward we have faced those customers, Aspen we have faced, and in Equinox also we have faced. Some of those customers were really, really bad. Absolutely bad. And it was very difficult to manage and come out of those projects. So all kind of challenges, I would say, financial pressures, learning pressures, working with your higher ups, working with your juniors, working with the family, everything.
That is really inspiring.
It has never been a very easy journey.
Another question is, sir, that now,
Yeah.
what are your future goals? Like, what are the aspects on
See,
which
my-
you are planning?
Yeah, my ambition when we started this company, or even before that, was always to set up a public limited company. So which means that we have to take this company to public. We could have taken it to public almost maybe 5 years back. 2015 was a very good time for us to go public, because there are certain prerequisites that a company should meet if you want to go public. So that is the stock exchange requirements. And fortunately in 2015-16 we were meeting all those parameters, and we were very keen that maybe in next 1 year or so we will go public. But then my health really deteriorated in 2016. I had a heart attack in 2016, and from 2016 to at least 2019, it was a tough time on the health front, and that also reflected unfortunately in the business. Right? Then the COVID came, so those 2 years gone. They were also very challenging, extremely stressful, right? But fortunately now I think we are recovering. We have almost sort of come out of those hardships, and I still believe that in next 2 years we can probably become a public limited company. So that is the future goal, at least in my mind. So there are 2 goals. One is, first is rather to make Equinox debt free. Right? Last 2 years we had to raise loans from bank. Modi government also gave some special financial assistance to small companies and SMEs. So we have some loans from the government. So I would like to return all that and be a debt-free company to the extent possible, and then go public. Those are the 2 important things. There are many other, I would say, I don't know, sub goals or side goals or complementary goals, whatever you may call it. One of them is that about till 2015 probably, we used to have almost like 70% of our business coming from outside India, all export oriented revenues. Then last 5 years, 6 years, it has gone down. It has reached a low of about 30%. Right? So another goal is to grow the export revenues and create new opportunities, new customers outside India. That has multiple advantages, as you can see. Of course, we earn better. The rates are better, margins are better. Earning in foreign exchange gives you another satisfaction. It also opens up opportunities for our employees, right, to work with international companies, travel internationally, and so on. So that is, I think, very, very important for us that we grow our portfolio outside India. Right? So we are obviously taking some key steps to bring our revenues back to that 70-80% level. Right? So these are, I think, some of the important points I would say. Please stop me, otherwise I may keep speaking.
No, sir.
Too much.
We have 4 minutes
Okay.
more. 4 minutes.
Okay, so the last question
Hmm.
for the end will be that what tip would you like to give to the future generation?
I think the first important thing is that I keep asking this question in many interviews, in almost all the interviews. What is important for you as a person? Success or happiness? Okay. And many times, I don't know whether Mohana was asked this question or not, but we ask our engineers or participants or the candidates to write in 100, 200 words what is more important for them. Okay? And I say that you write your thoughts. Huh? Don't tell me that Mahatma Gandhi said that success is this and Abraham Lincoln said that happiness is this. No, I want what you think. Definition of success, definition of happiness, and which of the two is important for you. Number one priority. And it has to be one. Don't give me a political answer that both are important, right? So my first tip therefore is that let us be clear about what is it that will make me happy. Whether this job will make me happy or XYZ, there could be many things. And is success really a happiness? So people have to be very, very clear about it. So that is why I would say the only tip is to understand your own aptitude, your own behavior, your own value or value system, and be very, very, very clear that this is what I am pursuing. Right? Once that, I think, clarity is there, then things are okay. If I look back and think about it, when we started Equinox, I was the managing director of Aspen Technology. I was earning a very good salary. I was working in one of the top companies. But I thought starting own business is my greatest happiness, or will be my greatest happiness. Right? So therefore, forget about all this. Whether you are a managing director or vice president or earning X salary or Y salary, or people say that you are successful and all those things. If it is not giving me that final happiness which I want to pursue, right? No point. So since that clarity is there, you can leave all these things in one shot and take this path. So that value system will always guide you in your life. Whenever you will have a situation to make a decision, अब मैं ये करूँ या ये करूँ, मुझे मैरिज करनी है या करियर बनाना है, मुझे ट्रांसफ़र कंपनी मुझे वाइस प्रेसिडेंट बना के बैंगलोर भेज रही है but my family is here, so मैं यहाँ जाऊँ या यहाँ जाऊँ. So many conflicting questions and situations will come in your life, right? Who will give answers to those? Nobody else. You can talk to n number of people and you can get n number of answers to those questions, but final decision will be yours. And how will you decide? If you are clear that what is it that you want in life, right? As simple as that.
That's all, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Very
Thank you,
nice.
sir. For accepting everything. I mean,
Thanks.
within
Mona, you
short.
didn't ask any question?
I have
Okay, your
for
questions
introduction.
are part of this.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sure.